Hi guys, welcome back. It's Kirsten and it's the start of another weekly vlog, and this has got to be a quick update because I do need to go not just to work, but I also need to go and get my COVID vaccine before work. So quick round. I am actually currently reading two books. One of them is an audiobook of The Gilded Walls, and I had no idea what I was in for when going into this, but it seems to be a historical fantasy and I do like it. We are set in France and we're following this thieving crew. Now in this world there are these artifacts that can be forged and they hold magical properties, and these artifacts, although they're stealing them, they've already been stolen from their original countries. And it's very interesting. There's a very intricate politics at play and I really am enjoying it. However, I will say I am a little bit confused by the magical fantasy side of things, and I think that's because I'm listening to it via audiobook rather than physically reading it. I felt the same way about Merciful Crow. I just find that fantasy books, because they are a bit more complex, they're easier to follow if you're physically reading or if you're reading and listening at the same time. It just helps me place everything in my mind. As it stands though, I really like the characters. We have multiple perspectives. There are 5 people within the thieving crew, and so you get perspectives from all 5, and I never thought I was a fan of heist stories, but actually I'm really enjoying it. Maybe I should give Six of Crows a try. Maybe. And alongside that, I am physically reading Valor by John Gwynne. This is the second book in the Faithful and Fallen series, and this is an epic adult fantasy series that my sister recommended to me, so of course I had to pick it up. It's one of her favourites, and the 4th book is just as chunky, and she finished it in one setting. She was enjoying it so much, and my sister is a person that will take a good few weeks to finish a book this size, so for her to actually sit down and focus on it and finish it in one day, I was like, okay, I have to see what this is about, and I am pleased I picked it up. I really do enjoy these books. The first one is more of a setup, so it is slower paced, but I don't mind that because I really like character driven stories where you're following them around and just seeing their life, and it does work really well because by the end of the book you're really attached to certain characters. Some of the things that have happened I just couldn't believe. Basically we're in this world where there are 2 gods, one for good, one for evil. Now the good one is the one that created everything, but he was tricked by the bad god and scoured his own creations until he realised that he had been misled. That was many years ago, and a lot of people don't even believe that it's real. Magic and things, it's all outdated. Nobody believes in it. However, there are these unusual, magnificent creatures. We also have giants as well, and a war is now beginning, and it has been prophesied that there will be a champion for the good god and a champion for the evil god, and we are about to see what's going to happen. And like I said, the first one is setting up the story, so there is action scenes in it, but the start of this book is a lot more action, a lot more faster paced straight from the get-go. There have been some surprises from the end of the first book to this one. I'm really pleased about some characters, devastated for others. It's just a really enjoyable book. Now I've only read the first 120 pages, and it's normally about that where you start getting into the story, especially because this is such an epic fantasy. We get multiple character perspectives. It took me a bit of time to remember who each character was, where it relayed, where it all worked together. But yes, very much enjoying this. Now my camera battery is flashing at me. I have a bus to catch, so like I said, this was a very quick intro and I will catch up with you soon. Good morning. So my vaccine went really well. Haven't had any side effects or anything, so that's great. And I'm all booked in for the 2nd dose in April. So that's gone really well. And apart from that, I haven't been up to too much, although I did get to see my sister for the first time in months yesterday, which was absolutely lovely. It was really nice just to spend time with her and see how she's doing and everything. And it has been snowing. honestly, since Sunday it's just been snowing a lot, although today it's looking a lot clearer, so fingers crossed all this snow and ice will melt because I am over it. Anyway, reading news. So I haven't actually read any more of Gilded Walls. I do like the premise, as I said, I like the characters and the setting, but I do find fantasy books a little bit difficult to listen to because the grasp of the magic system I just find very intricate. I think I've mentioned this already, and I find it easier to follow in physical format, but it is a really good way for me to see if I want to get the book. So I definitely want to get the physical format of this, and I probably will finish it, but I'll probably just do it slowly as and when I'm walking to work, that sort of thing. But I do personally find that thriller books are amazing for audiobooks because I find them really easy to follow and they have a great atmosphere. I have also read a decent chunk of Valor. I am really enjoying this. It is so fast paced, there are so many battles that are happening, the stakes are so high, there has been some really gruesome torture scenes as well, and it's just really good. I love it. We follow so many different characters, but I think so many of them are just brilliant. Brina makes me laugh out loud. She's this crotchety old woman, but she's hilarious. Her and Heb together are just a funny duo. I really enjoy that. Then we also have Swin. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, I probably am, but that's Corbin's sister, and I really like her. She's just this fiery character with lots of gumption, and there are so many others. I could honestly spend 10 minutes just listing off the characters in here, but they are all really well done, and you can tell each one is their individual person, which I think is a marker of great writing, that you can show that. So yeah, really enjoying this. And then I did start a third book while I was having my vaccine done because I knew I'd be in the hospital and I figured that there may be a bit of a wait. I was wrong, there wasn't much of a wait, but I did start Jane Eyre, which is a reread, but I'm reading it in the manga format and I'm loving this. I'm really enjoying the artwork. I think it's absolutely stunning and I love Jane Eyre. Jane Eyre is my favourite classic, and when I found these manga classics I was like, I just have to get them. I think they're absolutely amazing, and I do plan on getting the rest. They also do Pride and Prejudice in manga format as well as Sense and Sensibility, so I'm very much looking forward to getting my hands on all of these manga classics. And like I said, artwork, stunning. So I'm reading 3 books currently, but I'm also going to be starting a 4th book, and that is Queen of Empire by H.R. Moore. And she did send me her book back in November, and I will admit I have been very slow to actually read it, and I did apologise that I've just honestly got carried away. Also because it's ebook, I do find them slightly harder to read, but after reading The Killing Plot by Tani Perry and really enjoying it, I'm like, you know what, I need to give ebooks a proper try because a lot of the ARCs, so advanced reading copies that I get, are ebooks, so it's time for me to actually start getting on with reading those. H.R. Moore is a fantasy romance author, so I'm really excited for this book, and she is actually hosting a month-long fantasy romance, or FaRo February, and it's a readathon as well as YouTube talks and Instagram stuff. I have obviously been very behind because I haven't been talking about it much, and I'm not really taking part in the readathon, but I thought it was a brilliant idea to bring loads of indie FaRo authors together and help support each other, and I've definitely added a few books to my TBR, but I am going to be starting Queen of Empire tonight. Fantasy romance I find is such an easy genre to read and is normally very intriguing, and this book in particular we're following a main character who has this extra special ability, and she's also someone that any physical competition that she takes part in, she aces every single time, and this captures the intrigue of 2 gentlemen, and in the end our character has to face a choice of does she betray the one that she loves or does she save her people. So it sounds really intense, so I'm going to be starting that one tonight. So that puts me at 4 books reading this week, which after last week's I'm just going to take my time and just chill, it's just, yeah, that's not happening this month, is it? I really do need to get a wiggle on and get some of these arcs read as well. So yeah, looking forward to that. And if you love fantasy romance, I will leave everything linked below because there have been so many great suggestions on there and so many great authors that are taking part. Anyway, I have probably talked for long enough, so I need to get going to work and brave that iciness outside, which is not the one. afternoon. I have had a really relaxing day off work. Well, technically I'm not off work, I am working from home, but it's been really relaxing. There hasn't been too much I've needed to do, which has been lovely. Now, since we last spoke, which was only yesterday morning, I have finished 2 books, one of which is Queen of Empire by H.R. Moore, and this was really good. I'm so disappointed in myself that I didn't make the time to read it sooner. I loved it. I will admit I'm always a bit cautious when I read an ebook that the formatting is going to make me give it a lesser star rating than what it deserves, but I am finding it a little bit easier to read ebooks, and this one was really good. So as I said, it is a fantasy romance and we are following our main character Anita, and she is special. So in this world we have energy magic, which I really loved. I loved the magic in the system. I think it was so good, and we have this world where it's fueled by energy. So if there is a drop in energy, then crops fail and so many other things can come as a result. So it's really important that everyone maintains stable energy. Now, energy is manifested in 3 main ways. We have mind, body and spirit, and with each of those 3 we have a god and goddess to go along with it. I really loved that. I thought it was beautiful of the magic system. I haven't read anything like it, and that was probably my highest point for the book, was just that magic system. I loved it so much. Now, Anita is someone that has really high body energy, like unusually high. She's better than even the teachers that's teaching them how to use their energy. She's better than them. So it's so extraordinary, and she doesn't know why. She doesn't know her parents, they died. It's her grandmother that's been bringing her up. So there's a lot of mystery surrounding her. Now, she ends up meeting 2 descendants. Now, descendants are descendants of the god and goddess depending on where it is. So we have descendants of the god for mind energy, descendant of the god for spirit, and there is also a descendant of the goddess for body energy. So Anita gets tangled up with these descendants and realises there's a lot more going on in their world than what she first believes. There's a lot more politics and intrigue, and things are a lot more dangerous than what she thought. I found it really compelling. I read the book in one sitting. I couldn't put it down. I really did enjoy it, and that ending, I need to know what happens next. Like, that was such a cliffhanger ending, like, why? But it was really good, and I loved the romance in it. Now, although it is a fantasy romance book, it's not heavy in the smut, which is what I tend to find with fantasy romance, is sometimes it can just be so heavy on that there's not a story to go with it. Whereas it was completely different. There was so much emphasis on the actual story and world building that I loved it, and the romance is really well done. It's just not so heavy, and yeah, I liked it. I will say that some of the romance is very possessive, but it was handled really well. I thought it was written really well, and you can see that it shouldn't be this way, and the main character knows it shouldn't be this way, and how she's trying to handle it and deal with it, and I really thought that was very good. It was unexpected, but I really liked it. I can't recommend this book enough. As soon as I finished it, I ordered the physical copy because I loved it so much, and I would definitely be continuing on and read more of H.R. Moore's work. It came out as a really high 4 stars, just missing off that 5-star mark, but honestly, since I've put the book down last night, I haven't stopped thinking about it today, and I keep wanting to go back to it, and then I realised that I finished it. So I think, honestly, again, it's another one that I think just should be 5 stars because of how much it's kept my interest and how much I loved the magic and the world, and yeah, it was good. Can you tell? I have also finished the manga classic of Jane Eyre. I sat down and just finished this off in an hour. Manga is something that you can read really quickly, and I loved it. That's not a surprise to me because I love Jane Eyre itself. I love the story, and I really enjoyed reading this in a different format. Now, obviously, it's not the same as the original classic because you don't have all the descriptions and stuff that goes with it. It is mainly just the character dialogue, but I still loved it. It still gave me that brilliant Jane Eyre nostalgia that I have, and honestly, I think I'm due a reread of the actual classic because I just love it, and this was so good. I really recommend manga classics. If you haven't read manga before but really like classics, then they're a good place to start, or vice versa. If you really like manga but are a bit dubious about starting classics, this is a great way to get that classic story but in a format that is just a little bit different, and I loved it. It was brilliant. I've already gushed about the artwork and it was just, this was great, honestly. I've had such a good reading evening, morning. It's been really nice. I'm gonna get on with reading. Oh wait, what am I talking about? I did even listen to more of Gilded Walls. Honestly, I've actually read a lot. I'm quite surprised. But while I was editing a video today, I was listening to the audiobook of Gilded Walls and I've got 3 hours left of that, and yeah, this is one I definitely need to get physical format of as well. I'm really intrigued. I'm loving the character dynamic. I think it's such a great heist story. We also have a lot of things that talk about culture, stealing from other cultures, about feeling like you don't fit in, about people's perceptions, and it's talking about it from all different cultures. So it's talking about it from being Indian and the culture that comes along with that, and how other people can just see it in different ways, or being Egyptian, like how they've taken things from other cultures and changed it to fit what they prefer rather than being true to the roots of it. And I thought that was such a powerful message to talk about. Honestly, it's added another level to the book for me. So as I said, I've only got 3 hours left, but again, this is one I need to get a physical copy of just so I can understand the magical side of it a bit more, to do with the artifacts, because it's all to do with forging and there's like magical abilities that are imbued into the objects. So I definitely need to read that to understand that a bit better, but otherwise, world building, characters, the setting of it all is just really, really good. So yeah, I really have had a good reading bit since I last updated. Honestly, all I've got left to do is read some more of Valor and I've had a brilliant day. I didn't realise quite how productive I've been until I've done this update, so there we go. Finished 2 books, almost finished a 3rd, and I do still have quite a chunk left to go on Valor, but I'm hoping to get this finished up by the end of the week. I say that realising it's Friday. Is that possible? I don't know. I guess we'll see. Anyway, I am just rambling. I'm gonna go. I've now finished The Gilded Walls by Roshni Chakraborty. This was a really good book. I've already said all my thoughts about it. The last 3 hours doesn't change that. I thought it was really good and I definitely want to get the next book, and like I said, I'm going to be getting the physical copies of it because I really did enjoy it. I loved everything about this. I just need to get to grips with the magic system, which I think I can easily do when I read it physically. So very happy with that. I haven't started another audiobook. I finished that Saturday evening, and yeah, I'm not quite sure what the next audiobook's going to be. I'll have a little look on Scribd and see what takes my fancy. Now, I didn't actually physically read much at all over the weekend. It was Valentine's weekend. Me and my partner don't actually care about Valentine's Day, to be fair. We're very much of the opinion, you know, you love each other all year round. You don't make a special thing out of one evening. You know, we take time to get each other gifts throughout the year and go on date nights and things like that. So we just spent the day relaxing and what we wanted to do, which was great. But I didn't actually read much. So I still have 120 pages left of Valor, which I will be finishing up tonight because tomorrow it is the release day of A Court of Silver Flames, which I am super excited for and nervous for as well, because my pre-order hasn't actually come through and it's not saying it's been dispatched, so stress. Anyway, this book is really good. The ending, I think, is gonna just be one that is just I'm really excited for it. There is so much happening, there's been so many twists and turns and I'm loving it. So unless something happens in the last 120 pages to change my mind, this is going to be a 5-star read, 100%, and I am loving this series. I think it's so good. There are so many characters that you have to follow, but as I've said, they're really easy to follow because they're so individual and each part is integral to the plot as a whole. So I think it's an amazing series. I have heard people say that if you liked Game of Thrones, then you'll like this, which I never really got past book 2 on Game of Thrones, I'll be honest, but I actually think this is better, but I can understand why that comparison is there. Absolutely loving this, can't wait to finish it up tonight. But that's it for this weekly vlog, and next week, honestly, It's just going to be pure Court of Silver Flames. I'm so excited for it. I can't wait. I'm really tempted to reread A Court of Frost and Starlight, just get me in that mood as well. But I do need to finish off Bella, so who knows what's going to happen, who knows. But yeah, I'm so freaking excited, and by the time this comes up, obviously that book will have been released. Let me know if you've read it, what do you think? I'm super excited, and yeah, I'm gonna stop gushing and rambling and I best get going to work. But yeah, super excited. I think it's going to be amazing, and hopefully I can get my hand on a copy so I can start it tomorrow, but we'll see. We will see. Anyway, if you have enjoyed this week's video, don't forget to give it that thumbs up and subscribe. My social media links, as per usual, will be linked below, and I will of course see you in the next one.